Today we'll be going into the installation of the RPG perch collars. This gives you a 2¼ inch front lift and a 1¼ inch rear lift. This will level out the stance of the vehicle and also allow you to run larger tires as long as you delete the crash bars. Step 1, get the vehicle in the air and remove all 4 wheels and tires. If you have access to a 2-post lift, that'll be perfect, but you can always use a jack and jack stands. So you're going to want to remove the 2 lower shock bolts. They're both 18mm. Next, you want to remove the 21mm tie rod bolt. It's going to need a dead blow hammer to coerce it out of place. Next, you want to loosen the 24mm lower control arm bolt by 2 revolutions and the 18mm upper control arm bolt. Next, you're going to want to remove the 21mm sway bar end link bolt. Above that, you have the 10mm brake line bracket, and above that, you have the 3 15mm upper shock bolts. Next step, you want to push down on the lower control arm and at the same time using a pry bar to coerce the shock out of its mounting place. Now, to get access to the rear shock assemblies, you're going to need to remove the dust shield. There's going to be 5 fasteners holding it together. After that, you'll need to remove the 3 15mm upper shock bolts, and then there's going to be 1 27mm lower shock bolt. This one is going to be much easier to remove. Once you remove those bolts, it should come right out. Now that you have all 4 shock assemblies out, you want to mark the orientation of the spring to the assembly, just in case whenever you disassemble it, you don't have it 180 degrees off when you reassemble it. Next up, with a coil spring compressor, you want to compress the spring until you release the load off of the upper strut rod nut. Now that you have just the strut, you want to remove the upper dust cover and then remove the spring perch as well. Before you install the perch collars, you need to know that the taller perch collars are for the front strut assemblies, and then the shorter ones are for the rear strut assemblies. You don't want to mix this up. Then the install is as easy as installing the perch collar. Next, you want to put on the spring perch, and then after that, the dust shield. Next step is reassembly. Now, it's highly recommended that you loosen the rear control arm bolts by 2 revolutions while the vehicle is unloaded in the air. Once the struts are in place and torqued, you want to torque the rear control arms under load. Here's all the torque specs to complete a perch collar install on the 2021 Bronco. Now, to show the effectiveness of this kit, this is a factory non-Sasquatch package Bronco that is now running 37-inch KM3 tires. Now that wraps the install, so for more information on how you get your hands on some RPG perch collars, links are in the description below.